people kept driving by, looking at me, talking to my own vehicle with nobody in it. So yeah, time to get out of there before they call the cops on the psycho. So I recently just sent back my Explorer C1 dash cam that I tried out, and its replacement, the Mini 0805. Let's get into it. I didn't have to cut anything open here either. It wasn't even taped or anything, which is just fine by me. Here's the camera. It is the same form as the Mini 0803. It's pretty much the same thing. Takes the same mount even. A little bit better camera. Different guts on the inside. So there's that. What else do we got? Get rid of that. We've got the mount, a USB cable for your computer, and we've got the power cord to plug it into your car. We've got an 8 gig King Max micro SD card, and the instructions. And that's it. Oh, and you get a spare piece of adhesive also. Alright. Alright, that's everything. Some of the important specs on this, it has a 135 degree angle, which is your field of view. CPU / processor, Ambarella A7 1296p. I'll tell you what, I've been using the Mini 803 for about 3 years now, and I have found that that Ambarella system works really well. It's very user-friendly. It's got a lot of different settings. I'm not going to get into the settings on this thing. There's plenty of other videos on these that goes through all of those, so I'm not going to waste video time doing it. You guys can look that up on your own. My biggest thing that I wanted this for was because I'm the type of person that sticks to what I know. You know, I'm not unwilling to try new things, but most of the time I still revert back to what I know. That's what this is. I bought this as a rear dash cam, but the best part about this is, since I already have the Mini 803, is that my mount that's already in my car will work with this camera, and I won't have to change anything. I can just plug this right in. Material, it's plastic. The mount's plastic. Everything's plastic. Weight-wise, this actually has more weight to it than the Explorer C1. This one, I don't know how much it weighs, but got some weight to it. It's not super heavy or anything. Probably weighs about as much as a D-cell battery, and it's about the same size too of a D-cell battery. I don't have one here. I wish I did, to show you that they're almost the same size. Okay, some important factors that I look for: ease of use, performance, quality, reliability, and customer service if I need it. 3-year ownership of my Mini 803. I have not once had to call customer service or worry about it. It's only screwed up a couple of times where it froze up, and it was nothing that couldn't be cured by a hard reset, so no big deal on that. Dash cam specific things that I look for are video and audio quality, form factor, mounting options, interoperability. So as far as interoperability, I want these files to be able to play nice with other software. I don't want to have to use any proprietary software or anything special. I just want to be able to plug it in, click and drag, be done with it. And my files with the 803 are perfectly fine. I suspect they're going to be the same way with the Mini 805. The video and audio quality on these things is stellar. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's not the best in the world. It's not like a GoPro. It's not like one of those Blackview, the $500 dash cams. It's not like that, but it is still excellent. The audio quality is even more excellent. Let's say I have somebody pull up next to my car, roll down their window and start yelling at me. I roll down my window, this camera's going to pick it up. You're going to hear a clear conversation. Ease of use. This one's pretty easy. I mean, it's not the easiest one. It doesn't have a remote or anything like that. To save your videos, you click and that's it. You click the down button. I have a 32 gig card in my 803, and I probably get a total of 3 days of recording. I don't know how many hours it is. I bet you I get probably 16 hours total. And that's going to depend on your settings too. If you put it at the highest setting that the files take up the most space on your card, you're going to get less files. You're going to get less recording time. So find a happy medium there. That way you can maximize the space on your card. You know, it's whatever. It's whatever your preference is. As far as mounting options, these mounts are readily available. I wish it came with two, but you know what? We can't have everything in life, can we? But these are readily available. And that's fine. You can buy them with the GPS, without the GPS. I tend not to want the GPS just because the video itself shows where you're at. This mount adjusts. I'm not sure how much the degrees of turn are or anything like that. But suffice it to say, once it's in your windshield, you can adjust it forwards and backwards so you get it horizontal in your windshield. So the form factor. It's about the size, like I said, of a D-cell battery. You can glue this up to your windshield and be done with it, and nobody will hardly ever notice it. Once the screen shuts off, you've got a timer on it, where after it's been on for a while, it just kind of blanks out but keeps recording. Once that turns off, nobody will ever notice this thing. You can almost not see it from the outside of the windshield, which is what I wanted. I don't want something hanging in my windshield that just screams, "Steal me." I want it to be as discreet as possible. And this is it. It's all black. It doesn't reflect any light. It's not flashy. It's very subdued and discreet. I got sick of that stupid rickety snack table, so here we are at a desk now. Nice. The direction book is 20 pages long. It goes into quite a bit of depth if you can figure out what it says. When you choose date, time, and car, then driver number cannot not show. It is not enough space. You can tell that it was translated very weirdly by somebody in China. Long press up button, you can do something setting about the video. So some of the phrases and the words are just ass backwards and they take a little figuring out, but it does have pictures. This is great. The camcorder is suddenly turned off. Huh? Turn it on again. Do not drop or punch the recorder. Otherwise, internal components will be damaged. Oh, no kidding. We have tried our best to make sure that what is in this manual is right and updated. However, we cannot guarantee that all of the content is correct without any errors. Connect your DVR to computer. Find the player file. Double click the whatever this picture is to start the player. At the same time, it will jump out a window as below. Please choose yes. Sure seems like it might be a little bit easier to send this to a person who knows Chinese and English well enough to proofread this just a little bit and make it sound a little less stupid. Just a suggestion. It is what it is. You can still figure it out. This particular model of Mini 805 did not come with GPS. However, the camera itself accepts GPS. So, if you catch a good deal on a camera with no GPS, it'll come with a non-GPS mount. But for an extra 12 bucks, you can get on Amazon and order the mount with the GPS receiver in it. And bam, you've got GPS. The only problems that I came across with the Mini 803 was on really hot days where it sits in the car and it gets like 140 degrees in the car. It doesn't like that and it wants to freeze up. So you do a hard reset, you hold the power button down for like 30 seconds. It turns off, you turn it back on, good to go. One other problem, kind of a quirk that I had to figure out on my own, was when you take your card out and look at your videos, and then let's say you only delete one of them, you move it to your computer, save it, do whatever. If you delete one of those saved videos, this thing just goes haywire. It doesn't like that at all. Like if you pick one out of the middle of the order It'll turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on. It'll start, stop a million times, and it just freaks out. So if you're gonna look at your videos, do all or nothing. Either just copy them and leave it there, or completely erase the card, and it'll be just fine. The weak points on this 803 is definitely the mount, but the mount lasted me 3 years, and they're readily available. You can buy these all day long. They're not as hard to find as that Explore C1 mount, which is almost impossible. One of the other issues of the 803, which also happens on the 805, is with the motion detection feature. It works very well. When somebody walks in front of the car, it kicks on just like it should. But when it doesn't see motion, it stops recording. And when you're at a stoplight or parked in a parking lot and there's no motion going on, then it stops recording. So I don't like that. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for me, so I just turn the motion detection feature off, and then it rolls 100% of the time. The last issue I have with the 803 as far as long-term durability is just the plastic. Like, I don't know if the camera will pick it up very well, but this seam right here is kind of separated, and that is just the plastic warping a little bit. It spins all the time in my windshield with the sun beating down on it. Plastic does this. It's just a fact of life. But the camera still works great. I don't have any problems with the camera. I mean, that's held up very well, so I suspect the 805 will probably eventually do the same thing. But like I said, it's kind of a non-issue because the camera still works great. I don't have any problems with it. Once I figured out those two quirks that I mentioned before, smooth sailing. So the camera still does what it's supposed to do. It does it well. I have no complaints. I could care less about this at all. Now, daytime footage on this thing is excellent. I've got no problem reading license plates and signs and stuff like that. When you pause the video, when you're watching it, it's as good as a photograph. You know, that's pretty awesome. Nighttime, however, is a different story. I think that due to this 805 having a different camera inside, it behaves a little bit different. I had to adjust the EV value down to, I think, a negative 1.7 or something like that. You know, I drove by a Burger King or something, and the Burger King sign looked like a giant white ball. It was just blown out completely, and my 803 was not like that. So I think it's just going to take a little getting used to, and I'll have to adjust this camera a little bit. It is a different camera than the 803. Just a little bit of a learning curve on that, no big deal. During the daytime, awesome. Alright, I'm going to do a little audio test now. I'm going to get out of the car and walk away and keep talking and see how far I get. Alright, this is right outside the car. I'm talking exactly like I would be talking to a person inside my car. I'm talking to an empty car right now, and there's people watching. Things I do for YouTube. Alright, I'm going to walk across the street right now. I'm backing away. I'm still backing away. I'm in the middle of the road. Now I'm all the way across the street, yelling back at my own car. Right in the middle of the street, walking back. Here I am, right at my window again. This is it, the Mini 805. I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like cruising through town. I know it's a dark and dreary day outside. It's pretty much that time of year where everything is just gray and dead. But this is what we got to deal with. So I'm just going to talk a little bit and give you an idea of what the audio sounds like as well. I have this in my Mini 803 mount, which is worn out, so if you hear any rattling going on, just ignore that. It's probably my worn out mount. So what do I really think? Well, if you can't tell by now, I really love this camera. You know, despite its flaws, I think it's one of the best values that you can find out there today. It is small, it doesn't get in the way, it has a great camera, the audio is outstanding, it's fairly easy to use. I mean, it'll suit just about everybody's needs, and for 60 bucks, you just can't go wrong. Try it out. If you don't like it, send it back. I say give it a shot. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. It's got internal mommery.